Let's follow the science.
Fight.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Welcome to Science Domain. Now, we've seen in recent times many comedians, from comedians to newscasters, and now even to magazines, try to shame people who are unvaccinated into getting vaccinated. We've seen Rolling Stone more lately actually try to berate a guy called Jonathan Isaac, who happens to be an NBA basketball player, calling him an anti-Vaxer, saying that he's somebody who has just recently gone into African studies and watching Trump rallies and Trump conferences. And that's how he became vaccine hesitant, like as if they were inside of his brain, like as if they know what's in his conscience or in his mind and his reasoning behind why he's currently unvaccinated. But good thing we have the internet, we have press conferences, and this guy came out and defended himself. Now, he came out to give what I would call valid or fair reasons, at least, as to why he has been hesitant about the vaccine. And these reasons were as follows. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen it. One was that he was young enough, he was fit enough, he trains well, he trains hard, and he believes in his own immune system, and most importantly that he had COVID before.
I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic and is still evolving.
And that since he has had COVID, with the knowledge of what we have regarding, immunity, that he believes he does have that immunity, so he's hesitant at this point. Now, one of the things that many of these people have been saying when it comes to the left-wing, mainstream media have been saying is that most of these unvaccinated people have not been following the science. Many of these comedians have been doing and even saying things like if they do get sick, they shouldn't be allowed into the hospitals and whatnot. Many of these people have been saying all sorts of crap, but have they themselves been following the sciences, or have they just simply been politicizing this whole vaccine thing? Now, a Democratic strategist who worked under the Obama administration as well as the Obama campaign and currently works for the vice president was on the Hills Rising show about 3 days ago, and he was asked to give a response to Isaac's response to why he is vaccine hesitant, and this is what he had to say.
But that was very calm, rational explanation. So, Michael, my question would be, even just taking the Isaac segment, that video in and of itself, what is there to disagree with?
I don't know. The Isaac comment, I heard a lot of words, but I'm not really sure what any of it meant. Like, his hesitancy with vaccination seems to be more about kind of the cultural conversation than the science.
Or he has antibodies. He said he has antibodies.
But you can get COVID again. We've seen people get COVID twice. Now, he doesn't want to get the vaccine. That's fine.
Now, as you guys noticed there, he said two key things. He said, one, they are not following the science. And two, when he was corrected that this guy talked about him having antibodies, he then went on to say, well, he can catch COVID again. He can catch COVID again. So my question to him was that if you take the vaccine, does that mean that you won't catch COVID again? So in today's video, I want us to go into the sciences and answer two questions. One from Jonathan Isaac, in my own personal opinion. If you've had COVID before, are there research that shows that your immunity is just as strong as that of the vaccine, the immunity that the vaccine will give you? And the second question would be coming from the statement that Michael Hopkins gave, saying he can catch COVID again. Well, if you take the vaccine, can you catch COVID again? So today, let's just follow the science. But before we do, I want to quickly urge you guys to help me out by hitting that like button down below. Now, in order for us to follow the science, I found this article that talks about a lot of references concerning this coof, and it is very, very reliable. So we're going to go over this article from the BMJ. So when it comes to being a reputable source, they are definitely very reputable. And I found this particular article called Vaccinated People Who Have Had COVID, Why Doesn't Natural Immunity Count in the US? Now, this particular report was brought about by Jennifer Block, and I think there are a lot of interesting things in there that we need to read real quickly so that we can get down to the bottom of this and see if we can answer the first question. I'm also going to consult CDC website for answering the second question as well. So let's jump into this real quickly so that we can know what's going on. The US CDC estimated that SARS-CoV has infected more than 100 million Americans, and evidence is mounting that natural immunity is at least as protective as vaccination, at least as protective as vaccination. So in this particular article, we're going to find out a whole lot of things. So it said, when the vaccinated when the vaccine rolled out in mid-December 2020, more than a quarter of Americans, 91 million, had been infected with SARS-CoV-2. According to the U.S. Center for Disease and Control and Prevention, CDC, estimated as of this May, that proportion had risen to more than a third of the population, including 44% of adults aged between 18 to 59. Now, the substantial number of infections, coupled with the increase in scientific evidence that natural immunity was durable, led to some medical observers to ask why natural immunity didn't seem to be factored into decisions about prioritizing vaccination. Now, most of these people are wondering, is this a thing of politics? And this is the more reason why I've been asking. Most of these comedians that we are talking about, like your Stephen Colbert's, your Jimmy Kimmel's, and your, Trevor Noah's, they're all left-wing comedians these days. And I don't even think you can call them comedians, but all of them are just mirroring exactly what the left wing want them to mirror, what probably the left-wing party wants them to mirror. And we've heard recently Mr. Don Lemon of CNN say the same thing: shame the anti-vaxxers, it's time to shame them. So let's see who should actually be shamed. Now, I'm not calling for you to shame these people, but let's just see what the science says exactly and see who should be ashamed of themselves. Now, this is a quote coming from a woman called Monica Gandhi, an infectious diseases specialist at the University of California, San Francisco. So she said the CDC could say to people who have recovered, very well grounded in excellent data, that you should wait 8 months. Now, inside of this particular article, they have reported that in Israel, if you have already caught the cough, you should wait at least 3 months before you get the vaccine, at least 3 months. That's not happening in the US. And instead of them putting that into consideration, they decided to shame people who are unvaccinated regardless of this science. Now, others such as the Icahn School of Medicine virologist and research Florian Kramer argued for one dose in those who have recovered. At least give them one dose. Some other people say, well, maybe wait 3 months before you do. Anyways, many of us were saying, let's use the vaccine to save lives, not to vaccinate people already immune. Imagine, these are all experts. We're talking about people from virologists from Icahn School of Medicine. We're talking about experts from University of California, San Francisco. We're talking about experts here talking this. It's not just me, because I'm just some guy on YouTube. So I'm reading what the experts are saying. Now, it still went on to say, still, the CDC instructed everyone, regardless of previous infection, to get fully vaccinated as they were eligible. Natural immunity varies from person to person, and experts do not know or do not yet know how long someone is protected, the agency stated on its website in January. By June, Kaiser Family Foundation found that 57% of those previously infected got vaccinated. So a huge percentage of people who have got infected before have been vaccinated. Now, as more U.S. employers, local government, and education institutions issues vaccine mandates that make no exceptions for those who have already had COVID-19, questions remain about the science and ethics of treating the group of people as equally vulnerable to the virus, or as equally threatened to those vulnerable to COVID-19, and to what extent politics has played in this role. So they're questioning, should you be vaccinating these people? Because one of the arguments out there is this: vaccinate only those people that need to be vaccinated, and you will have spare to send to countries that are not as rich as America, not as rich as Canada or Australia, to get vaccinated over there so that it can limit the mutation of this particular disease. Because what we're doing is rinse and repeat. If you keep vaccinated only in these rich countries, this is my own personal opinion, it's going to mutate in other countries, and when it mutates, it will come back anew, and then you will have to start doing booster shots and booster shots and booster shot. Well, that's my own personal opinion. I'm not trying to give any misinformation there. I'm just saying, if you don't treat it like a pandemic and you're treating it like an epidemic, then it's going to come back over and over again. But anyway, let's move on to the evidence, the science. Starting from back in November, we've had a lot of really important studies that showed us that the memory B cells and the memory T cells were forming in response to natural infection, says Gandhi. Studies are also showing, she says, that the memory cells will respond by producing antibodies to the variants at hand. So this is the science. Now, in order for us to, before we continue, I want to consult the NIH website. The NIH website happens to be the National Institute of Health website in the US to explain about the memory T cells and the memory B cells so that we can have a better understanding of what's going on. Now, this is how they put it. They said, after people recover from infection with a virus, the immune system retains a memory of it. Immune cells and proteins that circulate in the body can recognize and kill the pathogens if it's encountered again, protecting against disease and reducing illness severity. In other words, if you've been sick before, your body will recognize that same sickness again, and it will be able to fight it due to these memory B cells and T cells. So it says this long-term immune protection involves several components, antibodies, proteins that circulates in the blood, recognizing foreign substances like the viruses and neutralizes them. Different types of T cells help recognize and kills pathogens, whilst the B cells make new antibodies when the body needs them. All of these immune system components have been found in people who recovered from SARS-CoV-2 and virus that causes COVID-19, but the details of this immune response and how long it lasts after infection have been unclear. Scattered reports of reinfection with SARS-CoV-2 has raised concerns that the immune response of the virus might not be durable. So that was the question, and this was written back in January 26. So let's get back to this report, which is more current, which is September the 13th. It was written. It has also been recorrected, I think, in September 15th. So I'm giving you the full details of how this thing is ongoing. So this is what they said. But the studies kept on coming. A National Institute of Health, that's where I read from just now, said funded studies from La Jolla Institute for Immunology found durable immune responses in 95% of 200 participants up to 8 months after infection, one of the largest studies to date. Published in Science in February 2021 found that although antibodies decline over 8 months, memory B cells increase over time. These are the cells that reproduces those antibodies. They increase over time. And the half-life of a memory CD8 plus and CD4 plus T cells suggest a steady presence. So the cells that actually remember this virus suggest that they are steadily present, and the ones that are producing the antibodies are increasing. So, it's just right there. The proof is in the pudding. And it says real-world data have also been supportive. So now let's go on to the real world data. So it says real world data have also been supportive. Several studies in Qatar, England, Israel, and in the US have found infections rate at equal low levels amongst people who are fully vaccinated and those who have previously had COVID. Cleveland Clinic surveyed its more than 50,000 employees to compare 4 groups based on the history of SARS-CoV-2 infection and vaccination status. Not one of over 1,300 unvaccinated employees who had been previously infected tested positive during the 5 months of the study. So, research concluded that cohort are unlikely to benefit from the COVID-19 vaccination because those 1,300 did not test positive in over 5 months after they had tested positive the first time. So they're saying that if you vaccinate them, they're not going to benefit that much. Like, it's not going to add any added benefits to their immunity. In Israel, researchers accessed a database of the entire population to compare the efficacy of the vaccination with previous infections and found nearly identical numbers. You can imagine. So those previously infected who were not vaccinated, they were compared to those people who were vaccinated. Our result questions the need to vaccinate people, previously infected individuals, they concluded. So they too in Israel have been questioning this, that should they be vaccinating people who already had COVID and got well. There are other reports that I would like to show you guys, but because of the sake of time, I wouldn't be able to go into those particular reports. But there is a report here that I want to show you just before we conclude. Before we get into that, let's answer the second question. And this is the question that I formulated from the response that Mr. Michael B. Hopkins gave, which is saying, well, if you had COVID before, you can have COVID again. You can catch it again. You can catch it again. My question is if you've had the vaccine, can you still catch COVID? Well, according to CDC, this report came out in July. In July 2021, following multiple large public events in a Barnstable County, Massachusetts town, 469 COVID cases were identified amongst Massachusetts residents who had traveled to the town during July 3rd to July 17. 346 of them, 74%, occurred in fully vaccinated people. So these people had COVID regardless of the fact that they were vaccinated. Testing identified that the Delta variant in 90% of the specimens from 133 patients. Psychothreshold values were similar among specimens from patients who were fully vaccinated and those who were not. So in other words, they are still confirming the other report that I said, that people who were fully vaccinated and people who had COVID and recovered, they are pretty much on the same playing field. So are we following the science here? Are these people coming from the left, coming from the certain party that we know is actually trying to push this and push this mandate by force? Are they following the science? Well, to me, it's a resounding no. I don't know what it is to you, but let me know in that comment section below. Now, to end this, every single time these people are talking about trusting the science, they're talking about trusting Fauci. So trusting the science means trust Fauci. Well, there's a report here that has gotten up to Fauci's table that was released by Politico. And this is why I consult every single outlet, whether you're right or left wing. Politico is a left-wing outlet, and look, they are actually bringing out some real solid information. They said Biden COVID team sees vaccine efficacy waning in unpublished data from Israel. The data, which is set to be published, made public as soon as this week, shows that the Pfizer vaccine's ability to prevent severe disease and hospitalization is waning over time. Waning over time means that it is starting to wear off or weaken against the virus over time. So the Biden administration's push to roll out coronavirus vaccine booster shots this month has been largely shaped by unpublished data from Israel vaccination campaign, according to two individuals familiar with the matter. So this is the reason why they've been pushing for boosters. Also, because you can get reinfected is the reason why CDC has been pushing that even if you've been vaccinated twice, still put on a mask, still follow those guidelines.
Reports from our international colleagues, including Israel, suggest increased risk of severe disease amongst those vaccinated early. Given this body of evidence, we are concerned that the current strong protection against severe infection, hospitalization, and death could decrease in the months ahead, especially among those who are at higher risk or who were vaccinated earlier during the phases of our vaccination rollout.
So these things are clear as day. Regardless, most of these comedians, most of these left-wing media, people like Rolling Stone, they still go on to try to shame the unvaccinated, not knowing what reason is behind why every single person decides not to get vaccinated. Now, to conclude, when they're saying trust Fauci, how solid is this particular report? Well, asked about the extent to which the Israel data showed vaccine efficacy waning, Biden's chief medical advisor, Anthony Fauci, said it was enough that you would be impressed. That means that, look, this must be something really serious. So he said, I would be very surprised if the US data don't turn out to be ultimately very similar to the Israeli data, Fauci told Politico. So these are all open information. I'm not trying to spread any misinformation. YouTube knows this, because if you try to censor me, you'll always also have to censor BMJ, CDC, and Dr. Fauci himself, because these are clear and open report. But I know a lot of people out there don't do this research, so I'm doing it for you. So basically, my point is this: people who are unvaccinated have different reasons. Some have valid reasons. So shouldn't we just be patient with them because of these reasons? Because somebody like Jonathan Isaac pretty much gave the reasons, and his reasons are valid. And the person that attacked him, Mr. Micheal Starr Hopkins, had no valid reasons as to attacking him as to why he should go and get vaccinated by force. Now, I'm not saying go and get it or don't go and get it. I'm not a doctor. Like I always say and maintain, I don't make any claims about the vaccine or the virus. I'm just saying to you guys, if you need to know any information more, and if you need to go and get it, talk to your doctor. Always consult your doctor. They are the best people to actually give you the best advice that is suitable to you. With that, I'm going to leave it there. But What say you guys? Are these people truly following the science? Are the people that are saying following the science, follow the science, are they truly doing it? Or is it just a political stunt coming from their political overlords? Let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Now, if you want to see more videos like this, and if you're interested in getting more information, let me know in that comment section below, and I'll make videos according to what you guys want me to do. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. It's been almost a month, and I'm almost being tempted to actually close down this channel and start off a new one, because I feel like I'm seriously being shadow banned. If in the next 1 month I don't get any more subscribers according to how I'm putting out videos, because I don't think I'm putting out the worst videos out there or making the worst thumbnails, but then if I'm not getting any subscribers in the next 1 month, which I haven't in the last 3 weeks, well, then I'm going to have to make some drastic decisions from then on. But I want to thank you guys for checking this out anyway. Hope you guys got something from this one. If you did, you know, hit that like button as I usually ask you to. And I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Until the next time that I see you, have a great week ahead. Stay blessed, stay safe, and peace. And Saya's out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye now.